The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Welcome to this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, locked, loaded, and we are ready with an absolute slam-packed show. We got some winners on air. We got some big blockbuster news coming from Polaris RZR. We got another round of power rankings, massive IndyCar news, and we've also got Tiffany Stone calling into the show as well. So I got to tell you, you better be prepared for 2 hours of all things awesome, because that's what you're going to get today right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Thank you for joining us. I've just been on the road, been at Reno calling the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series up there. Also heading to Bark River here in about a week to call the Midwest Short Course League races. So, I am knee-deep in short course. We're only about 2 weeks away from Vegas to Reno. I'll be back in my General Tire Vision Wheelback Polaris RZR. We'll be shredding the longest off-road race in the United States. So I am on a bender here of all kinds of fun stuff, and hopefully I can bring you guys along for the ride as well. Talking about guests, though, Jerett Brooks, one of the big winners, also my General Tire teammate up there in Pro 2 at the races in Reno. We've also got Rodrigo Ampudia, who was a big winner in Pro 2, first driver ever to take a victory with a Pro 2M engine. He in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series on the West Coast. We've got him on the show as well. And then, obviously, we talked about power rankings, but Polaris RZR dropping an all-new unit, one of the baddest UTVs to ever hit the market, and it is coming literally in like 1 month, and this thing is going to blow you away. Super stoked. Polaris finally able to put this thing out of the bag. It's called the Pro XP. Up the horsepower, up the suspension, up the fun factor, completely flip the script on anything you thought was a Polaris RZR, and we're going to go into depth on that as well. So, man, we have a fun show today. We got a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of news, and I don't even know where to get started, man. When you have so many awesome things, where do you start? I don't know, but we're going to figure it out right after this commercial break. You guys don't want to go anywhere. This is going to be a fun show today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh man, that was a hell of a ride. Go check out mymedic.com for the best first aid kits on the planet and save 15% with discount code Jim Beaver. Again, mymedic.com, discount code Jim Beaver, and save 15%. It's cheaper than a funeral.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And I got to tell you, we got a lot to talk about. We got some Slam Pack segments coming up, but we got some massive motorsports news that we got to get to before we get to these amazing guest interviews and Slam Pack power rankings that we've got on tap today. And big news, obviously, number one, we are powered by Polaris RZR. And Polaris RZR changing the game. We knew this was coming. The teasers were out there, and Polaris unveiling an all-new class of UTVs called the Pro XP class. And I got to tell you, they flipped the script on anything you thought was a UTV right now. Seriously, these things are absolutely insane. So what you get with this Pro XP comes in three trim levels: a Pro XP Premium, and a Pro XP Ultimate. They bumped the horsepower up. These things, 181 horsepower, 20 inches of usable wheel travel in the front, 22 in the back, and they've got a 96-inch wheelbase. So, they didn't go to the whole 72. I think that's probably coming. They're leaving that with the Turbo S. Maybe this is the next update of the Turbo S that they're going to kind of combine the two. But all new chassis, one of the best chassis ever, changing the suspension geometry. This thing has dynamic suspension on it right out of the box. 8 times stronger axles. I know those stock factory axles, anybody that's shredded or RZR knows, they go pretty easy. 8 times stronger axles. 3 times stronger drive system, and transmission has been upped as well. I think it's something like 39% stronger transmission. Belt life has been improved by double, so they doubled the belt life. I mean, everything you thought that you might not like about a RZR, Polaris went and said, stop, we're changing it. They've made it wider, they've made it longer in the cockpit area to accommodate taller, bigger drivers. Just everything about this thing, it looks mean. The roll cage is the strongest they've ever offered from the factory on a Polaris RZR. I mean, these things are absolutely just game-changing, and they look like you've thrown a bunch of money aftermarket-wise on these, but the thing is, you don't have to, man. These things are right out of the box. Get ready and go, and you got to check these out. Go to PolarisRZR.com. I know next week we're going to have my good friend Evan Schendel, marketing with Polaris RZR. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to be talking even more about the Polaris RZR and, all the implications of what they've done. I mean, they changed the game with a Turbo S, completely reinvented what people thought was a UTV. Now here they go, and they're doing it once again. And I gotta think, as a RZR athlete, I don't know, I don't have any in with the company. I think they purposely do that on purpose. They don't give us all the information we need. That way somebody like me doesn't spill the beans on the air. So I'm just speculating here, right? But I think you've got this. Now they're going to go to the Turbo S, and I think, I don't know, maybe 6 months out, you would think a 4-seater of this Pro XP is coming at some point as well. But I think the Turbo S, you start taking these chassis upgrades, transmission upgrades, belt upgrades, all the stuff that's going on here, and they're going to apply it to the Turbo S, and I got to tell you, it is going to blow things into the stratosphere, like literally. what is going to happen? I have absolutely no idea, but these things are game-changing. And that kind of horsepower in a RZR out of the box, wow. I mean, next level, wow. These things absolutely are going to shred and handle. I mean, they have done everything they needed to be able to get that power to the ground and do it reliably. And I got to tell you, these things are insane. PolarisRZR.com. I know our good friends at UTV Underground. They've also got a bunch of stuff on them and photos. Obviously, I've dropped videos and photos on my social media. It's out there. It's easy to find, and I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of these things and absolutely shred. So, if that wasn't enough for you guys that are motorsports fans and fans of this show, and I know I talk more about that in depth on our off-road podcast as well, so check that out. Hit up the Down and Dirty Radio Show RSS feed on iTunes. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good business. But there's some other big news coming out of motorsports. I know one of the big storylines, Alexander Rossi. We saw him actually enter the Baja 1000 last year, which was quite cool to see. But he's an IndyCar guy, right? He's going to be there for a long time. Burst onto the scene, with Andretti, won the Indy 500 in his first race. Everybody's like, where'd this guy come from, right? Well, in the last 3 seasons, we've seen him go to the top of the grid, right? He's become the best IndyCar has to offer. Been a longtime guest on this show. We've had him countless times, and I think the big news is what's going to happen with Alexander Rossi. Is he going to stay put at Andretti? We know that Penske was kind of vying for his services, and there's a draw there with Team Penske, right? And I think there's a balance of power in IndyCar. If he was to go to Ganassi, go to Penske, and abandon Andretti, it definitely would have shifted things, especially with Honda and Chevrolet, as well as the teams and drivers and things like that. Well, it is safe to say he is staying with Andretti, signed a new deal with Andretti, and I think this is the absolute best place for Rossi. Showed his loyalty there, mad respect for him to re-signing with Andretti. Andretti able to pull together Napa and AutoNation to continue to back that car as well as Honda, and I think Rossi being there long term, I mean, that's where it's at. It's going to keep the balance of power in IndyCar, and we're going to continue to see multiple teams battle to the front. You hate seeing that one juggernaut just absolutely destroy everybody, and I think if no offense to any of the other drivers on the IndyCar grid, but if Rossi would have went to Penske, it probably would have definitely put a damper on the rest of the teams in IndyCar. So, that's some big news. And then coming out of IndyCar, man, you would think this is off-season, silly season. Nope, it is not. Hybrid power coming to IndyCar in 2022 by way of the engines. We know there's going to be a new chassis there. Honda, Chevrolet both re-upping for IndyCar. But the engine formula, they pushed it back a year. It was supposed to come out in 2021. They pushed it to 2022 now, probably trying to get a third engine manufacturer on board. But this hybrid power, it's not full-time on hybrid power, right? It's going to be a 800 horsepower engine like we were used to. But then another 50 or so horsepower is going to come via push-to-pass, and an estimated 40 to 50 horsepower from a new KERS unit. So it puts us right around 900 horsepower generated when the drivers activate the system. And I think you think hybrids, you think of, I don't know what you think about, but it's kind of a hybrid system, electric and a gas engine. It's not like they're going to all electric. It's not going to be Formula E, anything like that. But the thing about hybrids is, under braking and things like that, it regenerates power and it can save that power and apply it. And I think that's what IndyCar is going to be able to do. They're going to be able to save that power, harness it, and then dump it when they need to. And that's going to give these cars just an extreme amount of traction, or not traction, but just power. I think it's going to be a good thing. Sounds like the manufacturers and the drivers are all stoked on it, which means I am stoked on it. And I think we've got some good stuff ahead for IndyCar. I mean, they've picked up a ton of momentum globally recently, and I think we're just touching the tip of the iceberg on where IndyCar is going to go. I mean, everybody is looking at getting involved in IndyCar from an auto manufacturer standpoint. I mean, McLaren, they're talking about a full-time effort still. Drivers want to be there. IndyCar getting a ton of traction. So, we are going to take a short break here in a minute. Before we do, I want to tell you about one of our partners here, iRacing. Yes, I've got that esports team in the iRacing Peak Series, but, they've got a lot to offer, everything from Lucas Oil, IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, World Outlaws, Rallycross, you name it, and they can do it. You can take on the top ovals, road courses, and dirt tracks in the world, from Daytona to Nürburgring, all the way to Chili Bowl. Compete with iRacers from around the globe, everything from pickup races to league races and world championships. And if you use the promo code Jim Beaver, it's PR-Jim Beaver, it'll get you 15% off a new subscription for 3 months at iRacing.com/memberships. So it's PR-Jim Beaver. It'll get you 50% off a new membership. iRacing.com/membership. Sim racing is iRacing. We'll see you on the track. And we will see you guys back here in a few moments after this commercial break. Got my good friend Chris Leone. He's going to be on the line with Power Rankings. And then we're going to have Jerett Brooks, Rodrigo Ampudia, and Tiffany Stone all on the line right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Man, if we haven't got you engaged and into this show by now, I don't know what is going to do it. But these next guests, they're going to give it a shot. All right, we'll see you guys after this break. Hang tight. We got one hell of a ride still coming at on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, along with my media director, Mr. Chris Leone. We're getting ready to do some power rankings. I know it took a week off last week, and kind of back to the grind of things, Chris, and we were just talking before we went live. This is one of those weird weeks where I am looking at my list, and I've got 6. Somebody's going to get whacked in the middle. I got a feeling who I know it's going to be. I hate to say that. But I've got 6 that legitimately should be on there. Actually, I've got 8 or 9 that legitimately could be ranked this week. Everybody was in action, and there were some great performances, man.
Yeah, no doubt, Jim. I mean, I had such a hard time putting this list together because the 5 names that came to mind for me immediately ended up being my list, but then I thought about all these other series that I had left off that I usually don't leave off, and just realized, oh man, there is no way that our lists are going to look similar. I will be shocked. I would not put money down on us having the same list this week.
No, I think there's not even going to be any possible way. So I guess let's just get rolling into things, because I don't even know where I know where I'm starting at number 5. That's about what I've got. I don't even know. Do I start normally or do you start? It's been 2 weeks off, and I can't even remember how we roll with this thing, Chris.
Well, Jim, if you keep that number 6 on, you start, but I know you're going to whack somebody,
yeah.
So I guess I will jump right in with number 5. You know, it's funny, considering that I'm the one with the stock car background, that I usually forget the stock car drivers on these things. But for once in my life, I didn't this time. And I'm going to Pocono Raceway, and I'm going to Denny Hamlin for number 5, scoring another victory. The Joe Gibbs racing cars have just been fantastic at the Cup level this year. You know, it seems like I don't know who it's going to be, whether it's going to be Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, or Denny Hamlin, but I think there's a really good shot that the Joe Gibbs camp takes home another title this year based on how they've been running. And Denny gets it done with another checkered flag at Pocono, won Daytona earlier this year. I know he was knocking on the door at New Hampshire the week before, but finally closed the deal at a track where he probably wasn't afraid of the trophy. I know there were some jokes about him being afraid of the lobster at New Hampshire. So good to see him take another victory, and that's where I've got my number 5.
Yeah, well, and rumors actually there's I will say Denny Hamlin, he was on my honorable mention list this week, so he didn't make the cut for me. But there was some stuff coming out of Pocono. It sounds like they're actually going to do like a doubleheader Cup weekend next year at Pocono. Did you read on that, Chris?
Yeah, Jim, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the doubleheader concept translates to NASCAR, because my understanding is that they're going to be using the same car for both days of racing, which means probably the same engine, same everything. And while some of the national NASCAR levels are using composite bodies, the Cup Series isn't right now. So you take a little too much damage in the Cup race on Saturday, and you're going to have to go back at it probably with a backup car on Sunday. So it'll be really interesting to see how that works out. But even more so, and I love this. This is one of the coolest things I think that I've heard out in NASCAR in quite a while. And I know Stadium Super Trucks kind of does this, but an inversion of the starting order on Sunday. So all of the lead lap cars from Saturday are going to start in reverse order on Sunday. So if there are 21 drivers who finish on the lead lap, and the guy who finished 21st gets the pole for Sunday, he's going to roll off the grid first. I think that's going to create a lot of passing. It's the same thing, again, that Robbie always does with the Stadium Super Trucks, and they certainly put on a hell of a show anywhere they go. So I think it's going to be really cool to see that at Pocono. And, again, a doubleheader weekend's always exciting, no matter what series you're in. But to break ground that we really haven't seen in the modern era in NASCAR, I think is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, well, and like you said, they're changing, and I like it. And I'm not saying like I completely agree with the format they're doing or anything, but what I can agree is NASCAR's trying to change, and they're trying to do something to draw interest. Like, seriously, I will be the biggest supporter of this weekend. I'll tune into both races, just because NASCAR's doing something different, and that's what we've said for the longest time. Like, and this isn't like, some crazy, let's change the points or change this or segments. Like, it's not throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. This is legitimately, hey, let's do something for the fans. And I feel like it's going to be big. I applaud NASCAR for trying that, and we'll definitely have to see where it goes. For me, in my number 5, I'm going to go all the way to Germany and Formula One, which I have to say I'm very disappointed that I didn't get to watch this race because I was in Reno doing some hosting for Lucas Oil in the short course series. But I got to say, this was probably – Formula One is on a back-to-back, like 3 or 4 of probably the best Formula One races for fans to watch that we've seen in a decade. I don't know what has happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks, but it's insane. Germany, a mix. I mean, the rain came and then went away. It was carnage, cars spinning, cars crashing. And who I'm going to go with is not going to be the race winner. I'm going to go with second place, Vettel, who started all the way back in 20th position and drove all the way to second place. And in Formula One, at 20th to second is almost unheard of. So I got to roll with Sebastian Vettel for my number 5 this week.
For sure, Jim. And I do have Vettel on my list, and I've got him a little later. But really, man, what can you say about that F1 race? It's like they heard you a few weeks ago. More accurately, they probably heard Lewis Hamilton a few weeks ago talking about the product not being what it needed to be. But, yeah, concerns answered the past few weeks. I mean, you almost kind of feel bad for Mercedes having happened to them what happened, but at the same time, Mercedes has won just about every other race this year, and Lewis Hamilton is still on one of the longest point streaks, I think, in F1 history, just because he got bumped back up into the top 10 because I guess Alfa Romeo took some penalties that they're appealing, but oh man, that is one of those races that you never know when it's going to hit, but it's always one of the most exciting things when you get it. It's like how a few weeks ago we talked about Daytona with the Cup Series and Justin Haley taking the victory just because of the lightning and everything that happened there. It was kind of a shame that Danny Kvyat and Lance Stroll couldn't be on the podium because they were both in position. Nico Hülkenberg was in position for a while. Yeah, I left Max Verstappen off my list too and kind of feel bad about that because, I mean, his results, he has been so consistent. If you put him in a Mercedes, I think he's toe-to-toe with Hamilton. I think he may even be leading the points over Hamilton if they're both in Mercedes. But no doubt, what a fun Formula One race it was in Germany. And I didn't get a chance to watch too much of it, but from what I saw, it was just utter, absolute chaos.
Yeah, and that's one I've got sitting in the DVR, and I at some point this week I'm going to go back and watch it. I literally just haven't had the time, but like you said, it was chaotic, and you hate to say chaotic makes for a good F1 race, but man, we've got passing, and I don't care how it happens. We've actually got passing happening in Formula One, like you said, it's like they've listened to the show, and they, obviously Formula One probably isn't, but literally in the past 5-6 weeks, I've seen a complete turnaround with this series, and fans are stoked. Like, there is more people engaging with Formula One right now than I've seen in forever, which is good. I mean, it's like they watched IndyCar and go, oh yeah, we probably should pass and make it exciting, and boom, like, we're getting it. Wow, So, Chris, who do you have at your number 4?
Well, Jim, number 4, heading to Sonoma. Big NHRA weekend. There are 2 races into the Western Swing right now, and I have got Funny Car points leader Robert Hight at number 4, taking another victory. Beats Matt Hagan in the final. Hagan has been very strong lately. Hight has been very strong all season long. Awesome to see those John Force Racing guys take another victory. I know that we're still all waiting on John Force himself to get victory number 150, and it's now been over a year since his last win in Colorado, but regardless, you got to think it's coming soon with how consistent that team has been, how powerful those John Force funny cars have been. Robert Hight is proving that they're winning machines, and I'm sure that John's 150th is not too far down the road.
Yeah, well, and who I feel bad for in NHRA right now? It's the person that works for NHRA that's having to haul around and make sure the John Force, victory banners are there, because they've been hauling them around for like a year now. And I'm pretty sure they're getting sick of carrying the boxes to every single event. They're like, John, just win already so we can leave these boxes alone. But they've got hats and T-shirts and banners made up ready to roll out when he gets that win. And, whoever took that job, I feel bad for him right now. And John Force deserves to give him a big tip after he does get that win. I'm just saying.
Hey, at least he didn't have to change sponsors between last year and this year, right? I mean,
True
remember
story.
A few years ago when they made that big branding switch on that team, changing manufacturers, changing primaries, changing everything. It was a whole new look. And could you imagine if they had to do that between 18 and 19 instead of when they did it, and having to reprint all that merchandise? That'd be nuts.
Yeah. So moving to Reno, Lucas Oil Short Course races, my number 4, we're going to Pro 2. We're going to Rodrigo Ampudia, who took a win and a podium, but this was a special weekend for him. One of our guests this week on the show. That was the first time a Pro 2 M motor, which is the new engine specification that Pro 2 will be shifting to in the next 2 years. It's the first time one of those actually took a National Series win in Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. The big thing is that's a spec that they've actually been using in the Midwest for a while. They're moving it to the West Coast. It's less horsepower. It's actually similar to a 410 sprint car, but it's less horsepower than the traditional Pro 2 motors. So these guys start in front, and they're like sitting ducks because the rest of the field gets to hunt them down. And it just so happened that Rodrigo Ampudia was able to win in dominating fashion. The cards fell his way and take a victory up there in Reno with a Pro 2 M motor. And it was a very, very big deal for the series. For Rodrigo, it was also... He's number 36, and that win came on the anniversary of his family's business, Papa's and Beer. It was our 36th anniversary. He's the number 36. He got the very first ever win with a Pro 2 M engine. So just a massive, massive weekend. And then he backed it up with another podium the following day. It wasn't a win, but he did get a podium. So Rodrigo Ampudia, he is definitely number 4 on my list. And with that, we have to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, Chris and I will have our top 3 right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands-down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP Pro 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver and Chris Leone here with Power Rankings. I know we just went through them. We rolled off our number 5s and our number 4s. I know you didn't have a chance really quick. I'd let you chime in before you get to your number 3, Chris, on Rodrigo Ampudia, who I had at number 4. And then, give us your number 3.
Well, Jim, I feel bad because I left Lucas Oil Off-Road off my list entirely this week. I know a lot of drivers had great weekends at Wild West. Rodrigo, what can you say about winning with a new formula? And like you've said, obviously it's one that's produced some really exciting racing in the Midwest. And, Rodrigo, not the only one with a fantastic weekend. Kyle LeDuc with a sweep, but it was one of those crazy weekends. And I know you were out there, but, I was looking over the results, and it really seemed like it was a tough one for drivers to get on the podium twice. So definitely a tough weekend there. I mean, I also feel bad because I left Pro Motocross off of my list entirely this week. Like we said at the beginning, super tough week to do these power rankings. I mean, we were saying before we started that we could have easily expanded to 10 apiece this week and still probably left somebody deserving off. But going to my number 3.
I was just going to say, before you get to your number 3, you mentioned, a bunch of efforts in Lucas Oil, and I guess I should chime in with this right here. But I do want to give a shout out to 3 young ladies who run in basically Junior 2 Kart, as it's called. It's the younger sibling to Mod Karts. It's kind of the middle division for the kids there at Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. First time, I believe, in history, though, we had an all-girls podium in this division. So I got to give a shout-out to Karsten Hernandez, Tylee Olson, and Jesse Owens. So these 3 young ladies swept the podium, told all the boys, go home, go packing, boys. And 3 young girls swept the podium in Junior 2 Kart. So I just had to give a shout-out to those 3 young girls because it's not often you see in motorsports, an all-girls sweep of the podium, you know what I mean? And so I thought it was something pretty special.
Yeah, that is something really special. And I mean, Lucas Oil's lower classes, those youth classes, have really produced some great female drivers. You know, Haley Deegan, I'm sure, is the one that sort of carries the torch in terms of public reputation and everything there. But a lot of great young girls driving in those series that are really going to make names for themselves in the future. Moving back into the power rankings, number 3, I mean, I know we talked about him a little bit in the first segment, but Sebastian Vettel, that's where I have him shaken out on my list. I mean, like you said, 20th to 2nd on a Formula One grid is absolutely nuts. Even when you are on one of the best couple of teams on the grid, there's so much that can go wrong. You know, less than ideal conditions in the track in Germany, having to avoid all sorts of other things, having to have a lot of things break just the right way. You know, Hamilton had to have a terrible race. Bottas had to crash out. Leclerc had to crash out. You know, there was so much that had to go right for Sebastian Vettel to end up on the podium after missing qualifying. But every single thing happened. That's one of those weekends that, you know, like you said, it's not the victory, but one of those weekends that I think that might be the drive of the season in Formula One. Going from 20th to 2nd is just phenomenal. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree, you know, and I struggled with where to put him, and, you know, I had race winners filling out my list, so I put him at 5, but there was part of me wanted to put him at number 1 just to make a statement and tell people, like, that drive is unheard of. I don't care that he didn't win. Like you said, in Formula One, going 20th to 2nd, that's unheard of. I mean, my mind is blown by that statistic. You know, that's just crazy. So I completely agree with you, Chris, and where you've got him on the list. You know, as long as he's on your list, I don't think anybody, you know, he could have been any spot, and I don't think it's going to matter at this point. But going to my number 3, was your number 4, Robert Hight. You know, he's been on my list a couple times this year. I think, honestly, with the season that Steve Torrence is having, it's kind of overshadowed the season that Robert Hight's having. And Robert Hight, I mean, he's very much having a Steve Torrence-esque season. It's just not quite as winning as Steve Torrence. And I don't mean that begrudgingly, because what Hight is doing is remarkable. He's that good this season. But, Robert Hight, definitely number 3 on my list after that big victory on the weekend.
For sure, Jim. And I mean, I know that we've been starting to focus a lot in the NHRA, and we've really been able to see the ins and outs of this season and some of the really impressive efforts just across the entire NHRA pit, you know, in all 4 classes. And honorable mention for mine as well to Andrew Hines, who has just been dominating Pro Stock Motorcycle almost the same way that Robert Hight's been dominating Funny Car, and Bo Butner dominated Pro Stock early on, and of course, Steve Torrence dominating Top Fuel this year. But I am going to stay within Torrence Racing. And actually, I am just going to give it to the whole Torrence Racing team for my number 2. Billy taking another victory. Billy actually taking down Steve in the semifinal, ending that 9-race final streak. And I know that if Steve had to pick anybody to end that streak for him of making it to the main event and having a chance to win the Wally, I know he'd pick his dad. I mean, I'm sure there are a couple of other drivers who, you know, that we know Steve-O's pretty close to, but, to see Billy take his 3rd career Wally and his first multi-win season, and I mean, both of them I think are going to be in the countdown at this point, considering just how fast those cars are. It doesn't matter that Billy's been picking and choosing his races. They have just been that good. So, whole Torrence Racing effort, them Capco boys, they're my number 2. Just, I mean, what can you say about a team like that? It's like Mercedes on 1% of the budget, maybe? Yeah,
exactly. Well, and I will say that for all those reasons, Billy Torrence was number 2 on my list as well. We both had him slotted in the same. I do have a question for you, though, Chris. I don't know if you know, because I don't. I just looked at the standings. So Billy is currently 12th in the point standings, and no doubt he'd be in the top 5 if he ran all the races. How many does NHRA actually take to the countdown in Top Fuel? Is it 10? Is it 12? I don't know.
It's 10.
It's 10. So
yeah, it's 10.
So Billy's right there on the bubble, it looks like, and I mean, he's really close. And I know they had said when I interviewed Billy earlier in the year, he had said, hey, if we're close, we'll run all the races, towards the end of the season. We'll start picking races up so I can get in type of thing. But, they weren't going to commit to it. But I would think with 2 wins and being there in 12th position and literally only a handful of points out, I could see them starting to run that car full time until the countdown just to see if they can, get 2 of the Torrance entries in. But the thing about that team is Billy, he, here he is going up against his son and, Steve going for this championship and he's got this streak. He isn't going to lay up. They will not lay up for each other. Those guys, they strap on the helmet. Doesn't matter if it's father and son. Doesn't matter what is on the line. Those guys come out swinging because when they go back to the Capco construction offices, it is all bragging rights come Monday. And, they like to have a good time. That's one thing I can appreciate, man. There is no team orders there at Capco and with the Torrance boys. They are all out.
No doubt, Jim. And 3 races left before that countdown cutoff. And so, Billy's in 12th, but he's only 31 points behind Terry McMillan and Austin Prock, tied for 9th. So, at this point, I think Billy runs them all. I think he runs out the duration of the schedule. I think you have to because let's be real, they could very easily be 1-2 in the championship with the way they've been running. I mean, you just look at the gap that Steve-O's got on Clay Millican and Antron Brown. 572 points right now. That's about 4 events. Steve-O can just go on an extended vacation until the countdown and be fine. Yeah. And probably still be the first seed, quite frankly. You're almost speechless seeing a team like that dominate because you don't get that kind of domination in major professional racing from a family effort like that. You'll get it from a Mercedes type in F1. You'll get it from a factory-backed team in NASCAR like Joe Gibbs with Toyota or, Penske with Ford has been very strong this year. But you don't get it from a team like that. It's unreal. Frankly, I used to be the kind of guy who hated domination. I wasn't, I kind of got bored in NASCAR when Jimmy Johnson won 5 titles in a row. But the Torrance racing teams just flipped my view on it completely. Now it's, now I understand why people talk about, hey, when you've got a team that's that dominant, people tune in to watch it.
Yeah, I think the last time, I'm going to go out on a limb here, off-road excluded. I'm talking about, big 3, IndyCar, NHRA, NASCAR, in the United States. But last time we saw something like this from an independent, kind of family-owned team, I think we're going to go back to Winston Cup and Alan Kulwicki. I mean, tell me if there's anybody in between there that have won a championship and dominated like Capco and Torrance. It was a family-owned, independent operation. I think we got to go back to Kulwicki, Chris.
Yeah, I think so. And even then, I mean, that championship that Alan Kulwicki won, that was by no means even that dominant. I mean, you had 6 guys going into that race in 92 that were all eligible for the championship. And I remember because I was a Mark Martin fan growing up, that was just one of those many years where, just it wasn't meant to be. And it was such a close finish between him and Bill Elliott. I mean, frankly, I think the only real owner-driver deal that we've seen over recent years, Tony Stewart winning one with his own team. But even then, that's a little bit different. They had a little more going for them than Allen with the Underbird. But, we got to head to number 1. And, I'll be surprised, but also not surprised at all if we don't have the same number 1. And I am thinking that we're going to Mid-Ohio, right, Jim?
Yeah, we're going to Mid-Ohio, and Scott Dixon, second win on the year. That it's kind of slingshotting him back into the points race. I think he's now in 4th, winningest driver ever there at Mid-Ohio, and it was also one of the closest road course finishes in history. I think 3rd closest road course finish in history. Really, really close. You got to give credit to Rovenquist, his teammate, who's a rookie who had a phenomenal run. But Scott Dixon, man, this guy is ageless. He's timeless. I don't want to age him, but I think he could drive at this level for the next, 5 years, no problem. And, and it's funny, even hear Formula One drivers talk about Scott Dixon. They know he could have been a Formula One world champion. He's that guy. Like, he's that good. But out of loyalty, he stayed with Ganassi all these years. But, continuing to win, and it never surprises me. And it was just it was a great win. And like I said, one of the closest in series history.
For sure. And you have to feel bad for Rosenqvist at the end of that race. Obviously, a lot of lapped cars between him and Dixon, and then trying to make the move and getting run off the track a little bit. I mean, you never want to have that sort of thing happen between teammates. I know that Chip Ganassi likes winners, but, you can't have winners if both of your drivers run themselves off the track. And I'm sure Ryan Hunter-Ray in third was just kind of salivating, hoping that was going to happen, hoping that Rosenqvist was going to, drive like the rookie that he is. But, what can you say about a drive like that? That's 6 victories at Mid-Ohio for Dixon now. I mean, he's the king of that track. He's been the king of IndyCar for quite a while. I think he's closing in on second all-time on the wins list. He's going to get there before he retires, no doubt. I think the all-time record is 76. The field's a little too competitive, I think, for that to happen unless we, find a way to stop the aging process with him. But even then, I think he's got 10, 15 more wins at least in him, and probably another Indy 500 to boot.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with you. He's a threat anytime he's behind the wheel, and he's you got a handful of drivers are going to have a shot at a victory, and and Dixon absolutely right there at the top of the list. So we got to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance, or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Coming out swinging hour number 1, and we're going to even take things to another level when we kick off hour number 2. You don't want to go anywhere. We've got Jerett Brooks, General Tire driver and winner up there in Reno. We've got Rodrigo Ampudia, another winner up there in Reno. We've got Tiffany Stone calling in for some shenanigans. You never know where those conversations are going to go. And we've also got our Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing results brought to you by General Tire. So I am telling you, we are lock-loaded hour number 2. It even gets better right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Got to ask you guys, though, big favor, please go on over to iTunes, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Much appreciated for those that you that do. Please do that. Hit that subscribe button. Please leave a rating and a review. That's how iTunes knows you like the show and you listen, and moves us up the charts. We get more listeners, we get more subscribers, and we get more pop there on iTunes. And also check us out on the web, downanddirtyshow.com. I am Jim Beaver 15 on all forms of that little thing called social media. Yeah, social media, that thing that we all love to hate, right? Yeah, it's, I don't know. Got a love-hate relationship with social media, faux show. That is no doubt. But yeah, and also I want you guys to check out, I've got another show. It's called Project Action on Podcast One. It's directly over there on Podcast One. It's also on iTunes, separate RSS feed. I know this one for the Down and Dirty Show, you get 2 of my shows. You get the Off-Road Edition and this show. Over there on iTunes, though, you've got to subscribe to Project Action. You never know who's going to turn up over there. We've had Jason Ellis recently, my good friend Jonathan Coyle. I'd really like you guys to listen to that. We're actually talking about maybe doing a 4th weekly show, right? Jonathan Coyle and I both tag teaming it. So like to hear your guys' feedback on what you actually thought of the show we just did, because we are bananas, man. We are all over the place. This guy, wicked smart, is Jonathan Coyle, and brings his own element to things. So I'd like to hear what you guys thought of that. Jonathan, he and his wife, Natalie Eva Marie, become very close friends of mine, and they also do a little bit of work with General Tire as well. So, we got their Raptor outfitted with some brand new rubber, some GT rubber, and, they're loving life and off-road enthusiasts when they get a chance, when they're not completely shredding the business world in Hollywood. So, anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. Would love to hear you guys, chime in and let me know, where your heads are at on as far as that show goes. But we are going to take a short break, and we're going to kick off hour number 2 in a very, very big way when we return right here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by, yeah, you guessed it, Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP Pro 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, we're going to switch gears here. We've got our Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing results brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. And Lucas Oil they were on tap up there at Wild West Motorsports Park in Reno, Nevada. I actually was there on site calling things. And kicking off day number 1, which is Friday night, it was Corey Weller taking the big W in Turbo UTV, RZR 170. It went out to George Yamosas, who took the sweep on the weekend. And then in Junior 2 kart, it was Braden Beatty taking the victory there. Those kart kids, man, they are just shredding. Mod Kart went to Mason Prater with the big W. Moving on to Pro 4, it was all Mr. Kyle LeDuc with the first victory of the weekend in Pro 4. Sorry about that. Mickey Thomas taking the victory there. In UTV, that was Production 1000. Pro Buggy, that victory went to Elliott Watson, dominating effort by him. Mickey Thomas taking the Pro Light victory as well, and Rodrigo Ampudia, he ended up taking the victory there in Pro 2. Then moving on to day number 2, as we mentioned before, it was all George Yamosas taking the sweep on the weekend in 170s. But looking at Junior 2 kart, we had a big, something really spectacular happen, an all-girls podium. So shout out to Jesse Owens with the victory, Tylee Olson and Kirsten Hernandez rounding out that all-girls podium. Mod Kart, it was Brody Eggleston with the big W there in Mod Kart. Turbo UTVs, it was Trevor Layton taking a victory there. Pro 4, once again, Kyle LeDuc on the sweep on the weekend. UTV, it went to Robbie Hornsby this go-around in Production 1000. Pro Buggy, it was Trevor Briska. And Pro Light, it ended up going to Ryan Beat. And then rounding things out with Pro 2, it was Mr. Jerett Brooks with a big dominating win. Actually, not dominating. We'll talk to him just in a few moments. But taking the victory there for General Tire and Pro 2 in the last corner of the race. So Wild West Motorsports Park, man, does not disappoint. One of my favorite tracks to watch. Got that big ski jump, lots of elevation changes, really exciting stuff. So big thanks to Lucas Oil for having me out to the race. Thanks to all the fans who were there, and that'll be airing on MAV TV and CBS Sports here in the next month or so. But we are going to take a short commercial break, and we will be back right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. And that wraps up our Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing results, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. Use that hashtag anywhere is possible and follow them at General Tire on social media and tag them with your pics of your GT grabbers. All right, we'll be back after this.
You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered, packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Super ATV is the industry leader in aftermarket UTV and ATV parts and accessories. Super ATV products are designed, engineered, tested, and manufactured right here by Super ATV. Whether you're looking to upgrade your suspension, get stronger axles, or you're looking for a new winch to get you out of a tough spot, Super ATV has what you're looking for. And since we know you're in a hurry, we offer fast, free shipping to the lower 48 states on all orders. Visit superatv.com now and get your UTV or ATV dialed in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my General Tire teammate, big winner, General Tire and Rigid Industries teammate, and big winner on the weekend, Jerett Brooks. Man, welcome back to the show, buddy. It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. It's been been a while. I haven't probably talked to you since maybe I had my first Pro 2 win. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I was trying to think, man. Lots changed, but I guess first off, congrats on the weekend, man. I guess birthday weekend, you walk away with a victory in Pro 2. That's never a bad thing. I haven't even congratulated you and Aspen on the new baby yet. So, man, and it was your baby's first race. Like, you've got a lot going on this weekend, man. It was good by all standards, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot going on. I mean, also coming down to the end of the points series. I mean, we got 3 races left, so there's kind of a lot on the line and a lot of pressure now. But it was a good weekend. Friday night was kind of a little rough for me. This whole Pro 2 starting, how we start the Pro 2s now is kind of a struggle. I mean, it's a dead stop start, and my setup just doesn't really like the starts. So I kind of struggled really bad on starts on Friday. And I had a really fast truck, just couldn't get off the line. Every start I would just get pulled by probably, I got passed by, I think, 6 cars overall on the whole night. And the Pro 2 class is so hard to pass that it's not like you can just get your spots back. So went back, kind of figured out what was the problem. Then Saturday night, came back, qualified first, started on the pole, and got off to a really good start. Truck was fast, trying to chase down the 410s. And I think we had 6 or 7 restarts, which kind of hurt me again. My starts weren't fantastic again on Saturday night, but I could handle them. You know, Bradley Morris kind of would give me on every single restart. He finally got me that last restart with 2 laps to go, with Ampudia in front of us in the 410 truck, and we passed Ampudia the last lap, and coming into the last corner of the last lap, Morris slipped outside. I went to the inside and gave him a little door, and came to the finish line in the lead.
Well, and that's got to be one of those things, because I was calling the race, and honestly, you know, at that point, like 1 corner to go, like we thought Morris had it in the bag there in the booth, you know, and honestly kind of did. But like you as a driver, I mean, you're looking for that opening and you're waiting lap after lap after lap. The opening never happens. And then like miraculously on the last corner of the race, like the opening was there. I mean, that had to have been like, as you're sliding past him, like, thanks, Bradley. Like, I appreciate it, man. It was like, finally, you know, he ran 99% of the race on point, and it just slipped up in that last 1%, man.
Yeah, no doubt. We came into that last corner. I was faster than Bradley all night, but just those restarts is the only way he was really getting a chance to get up and kind of bump me a little bit. But yeah, coming into that last turn, I had a drive on him up the hill, and I don't know if his truck stalled out or I don't really know what he did, but he went super wide on the last turn when I was only 2 trucks behind him. And I kind of just went to the inside, kind of ran my regular line because the ruts were really bad in that corner. And he just was really outside, and I just put my nose in there and just made it stick. So it was pretty cool. My general tires were pretty hooked up. It was a different weekend because it rained on Friday and Thursday night, so the track was really hooked up on Friday night. And I kind of thought it was going to be drier on Saturday night, and kind of groove my tires, sat my tires, and put a setup in it for a dry track, and it paid off pretty good. So I was actually pretty pumped on that. I'm learning a lot more about the setup this year and putting a lot more time into it. So it's kind of cool to see it all pay off.
Yeah, well, and I think that's one of those things too, because you know you'd been in Pro Light for a while, and then obviously moved up to Pro 2, and you've been in Pro 2 a couple of years now. But I got to figure, you as a driver too, it's like you're kind of learning more about the trucks every year, and I mean you're going against guys like McCachran, who that guy knows how to set up a truck. He's been doing it for decades. You know what I mean? And I feel like every year you got to be learning a little bit more about the trucks, and because we know the talent takes you so far, but then you've also got to have the setup, and there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that can separate a guy from winning and being in 5th place. And I feel like now, especially this year, you're kind of learning the ins and outs of the trucks, and you're able to find where you can get an extra 1/10 of a second here and an extra 1/10 of a second there.
Yeah, no doubt. Pro 2 or just any class. I mean, you could be you could be a wheelman, but if you don't have a set up truck, then it's pretty much, how short courses, or for instance, any racing, you have to have a set up call no matter what, or you might as well just not even show up. That's kind of how it is nowadays, and it's cool. I've just learned a lot about, Pro 2, there's so much setup in it. Converter, tire groove, rear gear, transmission gears, and there's just so much you can throw out the truck. But I feel like we have a pretty good base setup where we come to the track with. But, now I know what I like. My team knows what we like and how we want the truck to run. So it's pretty cool. We're all working together. And then there's just so much setup game in the Pro 2s that it's tough. But it's cool when you get it figured out. It makes it's crazy how much the truck handles better when it's set up.
Well, and how is this whole, I know you talked about the starts being different this year, Lucas bringing in the whole Pro 2M, and I guess which is funny because my other guest on the show this week is Rodrigo Ampudia, who took the victory on Friday night, but, his approach, because he was running the same engines as you guys, and then, they needed a new engine, decided to go the Pro 2M, and it's funny, you hear him talk about, approaching a race one way, and then you've got you approaching that race the other. You sitting in back, these guys have this massive gap there with the Pro 2Ms, and a guy like Ampudia, we know he's not a slouch, So, do you feel like you've got to hit your marks 100% to be able to run him down? Because, I was looking, man, that's a massive gap for you guys to have to make up.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of an unfair. I think it's just kind of the bigger motor Pro 2s, I feel like, have it way more harder than these Pro 2Ms. For instance, Ampudia, yeah, he's a really good driver, and we've always had good battles in the big motor trucks. But once you throw him in a 410, and he's just as good as all the other drivers, and he gets a 35-second gap, and he's all by himself, while I'm back there battling Morris the whole time trying to, I can't slouch on Morris, I can't slouch on Deegan or McCacken, they all want to win too.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a tough deal because, we're battling back in the back, and Pudi's out there by himself in the front, just running qualifying laps until the last lap until we catch him, and then he's got a race, So it's got its ups and downs. I don't think the 410's a bad deal, but it's just a lot harder for the bigger motors to try to catch them, just because there's a lot of fast guys in the big motors, and there's not as many fast guys yet in the 410 this year.
Yeah. So that being said, obviously knowing what you know now, we're on the home stretch here with the championship. What's it going to take for you guys to lock down this Pro 2 championship, Jerett, with Glen Helen and I guess Phoenix? I call it Phoenix, Chandler, whatever. still to come.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough. Every time we've caught the 410s, I've been straight winded afterwards, and I feel like every Pro 2 driver has said that, trying to catch those 410s. Because in my mind, you're like, all right, I'm leading the Pro 2 pack. I got all these badass drivers behind me that are trying to chase me, but then you look up and you see this 410 that's a full straightaway in front of you, and you still got to run hard. It's not like you can get in a groove. You still got to run hard and try to chase down that 410. So I feel like to try to, just wrap the season up, I just got to try to be consistent on just trying to stay in the front of the Pro 2 field. Just kind of worry about the Pro 2 field, and try not to worry too much about the 410. Just try to worry about my Pro 2 field and qualifying good.
Yeah. Well, I know before we went to live, we were talking about kind of the Midwest, Bark River coming up. I know you spent some time, in the Torque Series back in the day, and I think we won a championship with Torque, correct? But Bark River coming up, then Crandon. We going to see you make the trip out there for the 50th at Crandon?
Oh yeah, I'm so pumped to be going back out to Crandon. I haven't raced back out east since 2014. When I got my Pro Light championship, and racing back east was just a full different atmosphere. The fans are so awesome, and the tracks are just a lot different than out here. I feel like the tracks out there make you a lot better of a driver from going out there, from going back out east to the west. I mean, I just adapted so well out there. And for the 50th, man, I can't wait. I've never been to Crandon in a Pro 2 before, and especially it being the 50th. I mean, I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be awesome. I mean, you guys have to, with a Pro 2, I know, you guys are going to have to adjust the gearing and things like that. I mean, you're going to try and get in some practice days. I mean, how are you approaching this? Because like you said, you haven't been there in a Pro 2, and, I figure you guys got a lot of homework to do before you get out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to go out there and test early, but then I'm like, every time I've gone and tested early somewhere, the track just hasn't been up to par. And I'm afraid to go out there and test early and have it rain or something. So I'm just going to kind of go in there and wing it. Just kind of go there with a base setup, and hopefully it doesn't rain or anything, and we get some few practices on Friday. But I don't know. I feel like I know the track good enough, and I feel like our setup is good enough where we just kind of got to play with gearing a little bit, and hopefully we have a fast truck. I know it's going to be tough. I'm going back there. Deegan's going back there. Rob McCachran. Especially you have a ton of 410 drivers that are fast, and that 410 field's not going to be easy to go through. Yeah,
I know Keegan Kincaid's been on point lately, dialed in, and yeah, there's a group of Midwest guys. I think that's what's great about Crandon this year, though. We're gonna see the shootout, best of the West Coast, best of the Midwest. I mean, you guys are all going to be there battling it out, and I think that's what's. I think me as just a fan, that's what's exciting about the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. I heard they're going to have around like a 20-25 truck field of Pro 2s. So, I mean, that'd be gnarly.
That is crazy. I hadn't heard it was that high. That's nuts, man. That's like survive corner one. I guess that's going to be the goal of things. Get through corner one, and then we'll go racing. Oh
yeah,
man.
No doubt. It'll be different too, because there's going to be a lot more 410s there.
Yeah.
So they're for sure going to have a little bit of advantage, I think coming into there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think CJ won the Cup race last year, and he was running a traditional Pro 2, and he won the Cup race last year. So I don't know. I think you guys will be all right. I think it's like with anything, you just got to hit your marks and not make any mistakes.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be cool too, having the Pro 4s chase us as well. That whole thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Jerett. Man, congrats on the W. We will see you in a few weeks out at Crandon for sure, and then and then at Glen Helen and Phoenix to wrap up the West Coast series.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
All right, see ya.
And big thanks to Jerett Brooks for calling into the show. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, another Pro 2 winner on the weekend, Rodrigo Ampudia, right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my one of my guests this week to the show, Mr. Rodrigo Ampudia, also known as Rod Amp, coming off a big win there in Reno at the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's been a
First
while.
time on the show.
Yeah, it's been a while. You're one of those, like, I could have got a bunch of times, and I was up there. I was like, man, we got to get you on the show, because it was a big weekend for you guys. I mean, we got a lot to talk about, but taking a victory on the 36th anniversary of Papas and Beer and your number 36, family was there. Like, that had to have been a pretty special moment, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was something unbelievable. I mean, really hard to put words to it. I mean, we were really excited. My dad decided to go to the race with me instead of going down to Papas and Beer for the anniversary, and I was pretty excited about that, and just to be able to pull the win for him and that day and everything for Papas and Beer. My brothers that couldn't go to the race are down there working for everyone that works at Papas. I mean, it was unbelievable. They support us a great lot, like a whole lot. So it was exciting, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, and I know, you've taken victories in short course before, but this one, I know even Lucas was saying this was a big deal for the series, because you're the first guy with one of the new Pro 2M motors to actually take a victory, man. So I think this was big for you guys, but I think for the series as a whole, as they kind of moved that direction, like, that was just the whole thing was just a really big deal with you and that Pro 2M motor.
Yeah, I mean, we took a gamble at the beginning of the season. I mean, the open motors, I think, are still like the real race trucks. I think the M motors, I mean, once everyone's on them, I guess we'll be on the same page. But I mean, I like the big power. I can't lie.
Yeah. Well, and what was the reason you guys made the switch? Because I know, at some point Lucas is going to, they're going to be having those engines full time in the West Coast Series. I know in the Midwest they've been running for a couple years, but like you said, it was kind of a gamble at the beginning of the year. And I know it's one of those, like, you guys do get that head start, but man, you got to be sweating it all race long, kind of looking in the rearview mirror, because at some point those boys are going to be coming up on your backside.
Yeah, I mean, we decided to take the gamble because, I mean, that's the direction Lucas Oil wants to go. So they support us, so we want to support everything that they do. And if we can start learning, I mean, it's something huge for us. And at this point, it's really about not making any mistakes. Like, if I run a perfect race, I'll be able to, hopefully keep my gap all the way until the last lap. On Saturday night, unfortunately, I made several mistakes that, cost me half a second more a lap, and they caught me with 2 to go. So, it's just going to be, it's about running a perfect race and having the guys behind me also run a perfect race, because if they get caught up with traffic or battling, it's also going to put a toll on their gap on catching me. So, it's like a chess game, but we're here. We're going to race that engine package the remainder of this year and coming next year. So we're excited.
Yeah, well, and you feel like now, like you said, you guys are one of the first teams, in the West Series to kind of go to this engine package. Do you feel like, come next year and the following year, a lot of these teams, running the bigger engines like you used to, they're going to have to make the switch, and you guys are going to have like all this data and all this, you guys are going to be dialed in on this new program, while these other guys are going to be starting from ground zero.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I guess right now I already made the first investment, and we have a plan on how to be able to make the truck a little bit faster. But at the same time, this is my old truck that we converted over, so I think the next step is a new chassis, I believe, to be able to be competitive with all the other 410s back in the Midwest. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. Maybe we'll have a chance of those guys coming out here and comparing how competitive my truck is to theirs.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask you, like, the whole short course thing. I mean, it's crazy because I'm 38. I've been going to Ensenada, to the off-road races for years. And so, like, I've grown up, seeing Papas and Beer and the stickers everywhere and things like that. And I know you guys, your family has been around desert racing for a very long time. I mean, going back a few years, what was a draw for you into short course? Because, I mean, obviously I know you guys have the trophy truck program still and things like that within the family. But, what was your draw over kind of to the short course side of things? Because I think, like, I know for me, when it was like all of a sudden you guys were going short course racing, like, to me, it was like, oh, wow, that's something new, because we knew you kind of from Score and desert racing and things like that. What was the kind of the draw for you guys to come to short course?
Well, I mean, we've been racing short course for 11 years now, so
yeah,
it's been a while, and I think it's the most exciting type of off-road racing there is. You know, like in the desert, you maybe get one or two battles to be, running 110% side by side with someone else, but in short course, I mean, this is where I think it's the highest level of competition in off-road racing. For trucks, trophy truck style trucks. Is Lucas Oil off-road racing. So we want to be at the top, and I think that's where sponsors get the most value, and that's where we're at right now with my program. And my brothers are racing the trophy truck and score series now, and they also bring a lot of value to their sponsors with everything that we do around the bars and around the races. So it's a whole package that we're putting together.
Yeah, well, and how important is it for you guys? I know you and the family were pretty instrumental in bringing Lucas down south of the border to run Estero Beach. I mean, how special is that for you guys, in your program to be able to run down there, right outside of Ensenada?
It's awesome. I think it's great for everyone. I mean, the fans are super passionate down in Baja, and we get to get a drive off of that energy from them, and to be able to race in my hometown, it's amazing. I mean, Baja is like the mecca of off-road racing, right? Like, I mean, that's where all the Bajas are at. So why not have like the best type of off-road racing at the, like, where it's at, So like taking it to its roots, and everyone loves it down there. And I think it's something amazing. It's my favorite race of the year. And I know a lot of other racers really like that race more than anything else.
Yeah. So, looking at things like moving forward, I know you said your brother's kind of doing the trophy truck program. You're kind of doing the short course thing, but I'm kind of looking at the Baja 1000 this year going, man, this is going to be a long one. Any chance we see Rod Amp kind of slide over and say, I can do a couple 100 miles down here in Baja?
We'll see how it plans out. I mean, I think that my brothers are very competitive by themselves in the trophy truck. I think they have a shot of winning either the Baja 400 or the 1000. And I think if you split it evenly, it may make sense. But once you're in the truck and you're in your groove, I think it's a lot more efficient to stay in the truck a little bit longer than to have me jump in for a tank of fuel, for 110 miles. It just kind of, you're barely getting in the flow of the truck when you have to get back out and someone else gets back in. So I think it's we'll see. We'll play it by ear. We'll see what score puts out for the Baja 1000 race course, and make a decision from there. But it should be exciting. I mean, when are we going to see you race the trophy truck down there?
I was, it's been, I think the last time we raced down there was, what was it, 06 or 07? I raced the 500. It's honestly, I want to go back to the 500 this next year. It's just funny because, like, with my big sponsorship with General Tire and things like that, like, they've kind of started focusing on the United States, but just even having that conversation with them there at Reno, I was staying. I'm like, hey man, I want to bring a trophy truck down to Baja, like, I love Best in the Desert, but I'm like, I want to go back down to Baja. And they kind of looked at me and they go, we want to go back to Baja too. And I think it's one of those things, like, I think like Estero Beach and having the Lucas Oil, short course race there that General Tire is really involved in, I think it's kind of them at a corporate level. They're kind of looking at Baja again and things like that. And, I'm just so tied in with them. If I go down to Baja in the past, it's just kind of been on my own dime. But I think we're going to try and bring the trophy truck down there next year and do it again. Just, it's been so long. And the 500 is my all-time favorite race. Just everybody in Ensenada, the course, the layout, like everything about it. I love the 1000, but for me, like the 500, man, that race is just awesome. So maybe next year, dude.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you down there next year. I mean, there's also the Baja 400 this year coming up in September. You can come down and get your feet wet, give it a little try.
I know. We got to do Vegas to Reno here in a few weeks, so we'll see how things look after that. Maybe we'll slide down there to race Baja. My biggest thing is like, how the pit programs are. You gotta be on point to run in Baja. And my pit crews, man, I'm gonna have to recruit some new guys or tag team it with somebody else if I go and run down there, because I just don't have the manpower to do it right. In Baja, it's just, you can't go down there and kind of half-ass things. You gotta bring your A game.
Well, you got to bring your A game to all the races.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. But
competition is intense. I mean, this weekend was a lot of good racing. I mean, I can't wait to watch the TV shows on CBS and MAV TV. I think it's going to be we're in for a good show.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people are going to be blown away. I know you guys doubling down, took the podium there on Saturday night also. But talking about that, I know like you've got Monster Energy as some partners. Obviously, Lucas Oil. You're talking about doing right by your sponsors. I want to ask you, how was it? I know you've gone out with like the Doonies and things like that with Monster Energy. How's that thing taking a short course truck to the dunes, man? That's got to be a blast.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, the first time I went up a huge dune, I just flipped the throttle so I wouldn't get stuck on the lip, and I just flew like way past what I thought. I just want to get on top of the dune, not like fly all the way to the bottom of the next one, just because of the power that these cars have. I mean, that's kind of what I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation about the open motors. I mean, they're just, as powerful as a trophy truck engine, just that with, 30% less weight. So it's a beast. I mean, the cars can get going. I've ran side by side actually when Eugenia owned my brother's truck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just run away. Like that's how much power the Pro 2s have right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I mean, Pro 2s and Pro 4s, talking about the traditional engine, not your M engine, but they're pretty identical, right?
Yeah, it's the same engine. It's exactly the same engine that the Open Pro 2s and the Pro 4s run. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, no, I just saw the videos, and I think I've seen the video of that jump, and it was like, yeah, it was one of those you had to go off, and it was a bit of a pucker moment. Like, man, I wasn't expecting that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge air. I mean, Bryce Menzies also went out to the dunes and broke his back just doing the exact same thing I did at the exact same dune. So. It's I guess I got lucky that time because it did sting, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I'm planning on doing some more cool stuff with Monster in the coming up pretty soon, so hopefully you guys can be tuned in and see what we come up with.
Nice. Well, before they go, it's one of those, like we were talking about Papas and beer to open things. Like I said, I've been going to Ensenada for years, man, and it's like they've become synonymous with off-road. I know, obviously, you run the colors on your truck. I mean, how has that been for the Papas and beer business to be so, because I feel like the off-road community, I mean, you go to Ensenada or you go to Rosarito, it's like, to me, it's like you got to stop there. Like everybody's got to go there at least once in their trip. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's that support factor with off-road, and the two kind of go side by side. How that's had to been really good for the Papas and beer business, for the off-road races and just for their investment, in what they've done in off-road.
Yeah, I mean, we really appreciate all the racers that come out and hang out at the bar before or after the races. I mean, we've done a couple of cool contingency programs in the past where if you run our sticker, or you promote us on social media, we'll give you like 100 beers and 100 tacos, for you to celebrate that night at Papas and Beer and stuff like that. We know the teams get to the finish line, all the chase crews are tired. So we're like, hey, you know what? Drive your car to Papas, park it there, have your guys come in, have a couple of beers and tacos, and then you guys can go load up and continue your celebration at the hotel or whatever everyone's doing.
Yeah. So before we let you go, man, obviously we got a couple of weekends left for Lucas Oil. We got Glen Helen and Phoenix again. I call it Phoenix, but Chandler out there. But what's it going to take for you guys to put it back on top of the box, man, and kind of make a run at this possible points championship?
Oh man, I mean, I love the setup that we have right now. I mean, all the companies that have helped us get to this point. I mean, just the whole package with the Maxxis tires, Fox shocks, Pro Power engine, just every single component on the truck right now is working amazing, and it's just going to be about, I just have to bring it home. Like I said earlier, it's about making clean laps, and I know a couple people had some engine issues during this last race in Reno, so we'll see if they decide to put an M engine on the trucks for the last two rounds. I mean, it's going to be interesting, to see if they want to bridge the gap or if they're going to stay with what they have. I mean, it's something that every time we come to the racetrack, we're looking like, all right, someone else with an engine? Is it just us? What's our plan for the weekend?
Yeah. Well, I know, we had Kyle LeDuc up in the booth, and he was helping us call the Pro 2 race, and he looks and he goes, man, I know what Rodrigo's thinking. He's like, I don't know why all the other Pro 2s. He's like, if I was building Pro 2 right now, I'd have the M engine in there. He's like, I like that bet. He's like, I understand what Rodrigo's doing. He's like, I like that bet. He's like, I'd rather start out front and have to run a flawless race than be sitting in the back and getting ping-ponged around with all the other Pro 2s and bumped and banged and everything else and have to hunt him down. He's like, I think Rodrigo's got the ticket, and he's like, I bet, and this is all from Kyle LeDuc, he's like, I bet we see more wins out of that program. He's like, because he's like, I think he's like, I bet the next year everybody's going to be pulling the Pro 2 M card. He's like, because he said, I think Rodrigo's going to get a lot of wins. So I don't know. That's coming from Kyle LeDuc, man. He's on your side. He says he thinks you got the hot ticket, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reason why we went this direction. I mean, we got a podium with the other engine package as well at the beginning of this season, so it's not like we were, running in the back of the pack or, top 10 or whatnot. Yeah. Like, we were running up front, but we decided to pull the trigger, and we actually bring both trucks to the races, the open motor and the M truck, in case we have any issues or if there's just a big advantage for the other trucks, we can always hop on the open engine truck. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I just gotta keep training and keep focusing on my driving skill set, and hopefully we can bring in more wins for Lucas Oil Monster Energy Method Wheels team.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, Rodrigo, man. Much appreciated. We need to do a little more often. It's taken too darn long to have you on the first time, but congrats on the win, my friend, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right. Thank you. See you out there.
Big thanks to Rod Amp for calling into the show. And I got to say, if you're down at Ensenada for the Baja 1000, the Baja 400 coming up, definitely check out Papa's and Beer. It does not disappoint. Definitely, they've supported the sport of off-road for countless years. So, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, it's going to be Tiffany Stone right here with me on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
4WP is more than a store. We're truck and Jeep experts and have been for over 50 years. From wheel and tire upgrades to full custom builds, 4WP has you covered. Whether you want to order the best parts online or shop in store, do the work yourself, or get it done by a pro, all roads lead to 4WP. Do your rig right. Shop online or find your store at 4WP.com.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Like to welcome my very special guest, like she is every single week, except for last week when we didn't do radio. Miss Tiffany Stone. How is everything going, T-Stone?
It is going great. Just getting things all geared up. Trail to SEMA is in a few months, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And looking forward to a busy month in August. So it's kind of crazy that this time's gone by and we're already in August.
Yeah, I know, like Bark River's coming up. I'm going to be there. I know you got some fancy-dancy Lexus training, it sounds like. And then I got Vegas to Reno immediately after Bark River, and then Crandon's a couple weeks after that. And, it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff crammed into the month of August for sure.
Exactly. And then I'm actually driving my Jeep all the way from Metro Detroit to Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. So from one Detroit to the other for the Ojibwe race for the ARA series. So it's going to be a pretty busy month, and then straight from there, drive to Crandon.
Yeah. Well, and talking about that, we haven't even talked about New England Forest Rally because we didn't do the show last week, but you're up there. That's one of my favorite events of the year. It's Sunday River Resort. How was that? How did you like New England Forest Rally? That's kind of become one of the iconic events for the rally series here in the U.S.
Yeah, no, it was great. So Sunday River, if anybody knows, they had the Frozen Rush, the Red Bull races there. And so it's pretty cool. And it's busy when there's snow and in the winter months because you're at a ski resort. However, in the middle of July, there's not anybody really there because there's no snow. So when I was at one of the lodges, I'm not kidding you, I walked in because I like to fly in early. I like to check out whatever city area that I'm in, make it a double kind of, exploration type thing, like work and being able to check out stuff. But I walk into my hotel. They give you an actual key. So it's like a key with a room. But I'm on the second floor, and when I turn, it literally is like a viewing from The Shining because I'm the only one there. There's no cars or anything. And, I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, all of a sudden, 2 little girls are going to pop out, and I'm about to die. And that's how I felt. But other than that, the racing was great. It was awesome. It was beautiful, but it was hot. It was hot and muggy.
That's crazy, too, because you're up there in Maine, and it's hot and muggy. I got to ask, I got to put you on the spot. You get any lobster rolls?
No, I didn't.
What?
I didn't get any of that. And I didn't even get the pies, the pies that they have on the side of the road. Yeah. I didn't get those either.
Yeah. I've never stopped and got a pie. I can honestly say that. I never stopped and got a pie. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's when you kind of cross into the New Hampshire side of things. But I still, you're in Maine, that's sacrilegious. When you're in Maine, you have to get some semblance of lobster. You can't not go to Maine and skip the lobster T-Stone.
No, I know. But it was, I flew into Portland, Maine, and then I drove inward. So I really didn't stop. I did check out this really good burger place, but it was called Butcher Burger. So that was really good. And every single burger, they had Hawaiian rolls. So that was yummy. So check them out. It was great. And I actually ate the whole burger. So I got a great burger instead.
You got a great burger. I don't know where this is. This is not good. You go to Maine and you buy.
Oh my gosh! I just snorted.
Burgers are a Texas thing or something. I don't know, T-Stone. We got to move on because I just can't believe you went to Maine without lobster.
Sorry.
Did you go to Concord Pond and watch the jumps?
I did.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I guess supposedly Barry McKenna, if you've seen that shot on the ARA Instagram or even on my Instagram, it was crazy. And where I was located, it was a great shot. It was coming out of nowhere. So if you haven't seen it, check out the Instagram. My Instagram, it's on there. But I guess Barry McKenna just put it into 5th gear. He didn't mean to, and it just sent it. And it was awesome. You heard everybody. Everybody was lined up. And it was what's kind of cool about the New England Forest Rally one is you're allowed to line up anywhere on the stages. All you have to do is put your tape around and obviously be careful, be out of the way. Don't be stupid where you're at, but you can line up wherever you want. So it's kind of cool to see where locals have picked their favorite spots to kind of watch. But Concord Pond obviously was one of the best favorites out there.
Yeah, that one's iconic. That's just... You saved yourself. If I would have said, T-Stone, did you go to Concord Pond and watch the jumps? And you would have said no. I would have been like, man, you went to Maine, you skipped Concord Pond and the lobster, you're out. But you saved yourself there. At least you went to Concord Pond. And I'm totally just giving you mad crap right now for no reason.
Oh. Well, and the thing is, if you've been to a rally race, obviously you have to go in before 00, 000, all of those cars, and you can't leave the stage till all the cars are done. When you have 74 cars, you don't want to wait, especially when you're doing media stuff and you need to get to other stages and transit miles and everything. The crazy part about it is, so out of the 3 stages I went to, mind you, it is 88 degrees to 92 degrees with 85% humidity. I walked 8 miles in the woods in Maine and New England going to these stages. I was dying, literally dying. I don't even know. And so you at least have to give me a little leeway for not getting a lobster roll.
Okay, so literally as we speak, you never know what the hell's going to happen on this show. And I was like, all right, we gotta find something to talk to T-Stone about. So I'm browsing your Instagram because you plugged it there. And so literally I follow this Instagram account called The Horror Gallery. And there's this crazy video, and I just texted it to you, and you're going to look at it while we're on, and you're going to be like, what in the heck? It's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. So, yeah, you definitely want to check it.
Oh, my gosh.
So what we're looking at is like this nightmarish baby, they call it, and it's literally this baby in this diaper, but it's walking around with this like massive head, and it looks like a demon child of some sort. Like, I don't know how this is coming onto the show and where we're going with this, but I was like, I got to share this with Tiff.
So it's a normal child wearing a baby mask, a baby Halloween mask. And that's creepy. And I'm about to age us, Jim. I'm so about to age us. But you remember the show, Ally McBeal with the dancing baby. How big of a craze was that?
That went viral for like, that was before things were actually viral. The dancing baby, that was so bad. That was like 2 years people dealt with that thing. Like, that was so bad, Tiff. Oh man.
And now if I start singing the song, it's going to get stuck in our head.
Oh, do not. Please don't. Ally McBeal, man, I forgot about that show completely.
But I just aged us. But for any listeners out there, you know exactly what we're talking about with that stupid baby.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
Oh, it was. And, you know, it's funny. Things that you think about that, like things that used to go viral before viral was a thing. There was no internet, right? Or it was in its infancy. I don't know what we're talking, but like, you know, like even music and things like that. Like, I feel like viral now isn't like viral back then, because like viral now, it's fairly easy if you want to throw a little bit of money at something and get a few Instagram influencers to get something to go viral. You know what I mean? And get it in front of a bunch of eyeballs. Back then, to get something to go viral, Tiff, like you knew it was rad or it was a big deal, because like you couldn't just go onto the internet and spend some money and get that thing shared in front of everybody. You know, it was like it was tough to get something to quote go viral before that was even a term, you know?
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's just, it was just everywhere. And that's, you know, like once again, Napster was pretty much Spotify, but imagine getting in trouble for downloading the songs, you know,
Holy
because
crap, Napster.
It's just so crazy to think about where it is.
That was dial-up.
These days, you're lucky.
Yeah, I remember we were in college when Napster came out. I was like a freshman in college or something like that. I'm assuming you're a couple years younger than me. You're probably high school. That, like, literally, it was dial-up internet in college. It was before, like, high-speed internet. And you wanted to download a song, and it was literally like you would hit the song, and it was like, yeah, come back in 5 hours, you know, and your 2-minute song would be done or something like that. It was crazy. So I know, like, you'd get ready to go to bed, and you'd, like, put 4 or 5 songs in your thing, and you'd let it run all night, and, like, the next morning you'd wake up, and you might have 4 or 5 songs to listen to.
100%. I do remember that, and you can make your own mixes, your CD mix, and when you were, like, into a girl or a guy, you made them a mix, and you're like, ooh, these are all the songs that remind me of you.
Oh, yeah. Now I want to know what was on the T-Stone Mac mix? Like, you're trying to get some guy or something. What the hell are you giving him on his mixtape?
Truth be told, in my garage sale I had this weekend, I found some of CDs I burned from early 2000s. So probably, I think it was like, I don't know, some R&B song. Like,
do you still have those? Did you get rid of them or throw them?
No, I have them. They're actually in my office. I need to find a computer that has a CD-ROM or disk drive and kind of go from there. And I can tell you what's on it. It's probably like Casey and JoJo, you know, Boys to Men were on there.
I think I had probably some Bone Thugs and Harmony on mine, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Had 3 6 Mafia.
Oh, nice. Okay. There was there was some 311, maybe some Goldfinger. I don't know. I was a mix of like metal and punk and rap, but I've got a couple of those mixed CDs. I've got this big album of CDs, literally when you used to have like a binder full, and I've got like 200 CDs in it, but I've got a bunch of mixes in there. Crandon, bring your mixtapes. I'm going to bring my mixtapes, and we're going to play them, and we're going to laugh our asses off. That's what we're doing at Crandon, T-Stone.
Is that our house? Oh, those could be the house party
jams.
Yes,
those are house party jams right there. It's going to be our mixtapes from 2 decades ago.
Oh my God! We have to find a CD player though. That's the bad thing is we'll have to find a CD player or.
Well, your Jeep's got one in there, right?
I don't think my Jeep has a CD player.
I was going to say most of Fords at least have like a slot for a CD. Maybe my rental car will have it or something. Like we've got a. Yeah, we're going to make this happen one way or another. Bring your CDs, and Crandon's old enough, we're going to find a freaking CD player somewhere.
And if not, and if you're listening and you want to be invited maybe to our really cool Throwback Jams house party, find us a CD player, and you can be the DJ of the night.
Oh, this is going to be interesting to see what the hell pops up on these CDs, because I haven't listened to mine in forever. I'm sure there's some No Doubt on there. That was, so I guarantee I've got some No Doubt on there maybe. I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting. Probably some Dr. Dre.
Yes, Dr. Dre.
I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I'm gonna have to go home and get that book out and see what the hell's on there.
But do you have early Dr. Dre, like right out of Eazy-E?
Oh, yes,
out of
absolutely.
NWA?
Yeah, Dr. Dre, what was it, 2001 or whatever? The second Chronic wasn't bad, but nothing beats the first Chronic. I've actually got some NWA, but OG Dre, I'm talking early 90s rap is the best era of rap. Hands down ever. I will fight to the ends of the world on that. I mean, Eazy-E, NWA, then it led into, Dre, Snoop, Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., like that whole era right there, that is just like solid gold rap music as far as I'm concerned.
100%, 100, and that may be the only thing we've ever agreed. No, just kidding. But yes, 100% I agree with you on that. And those people created such icons, and like Dre even finding Eminem, not finding Eminem, but like help produce
Ice
Eminem
Cube,
and then produce 50. Like Dre's a great iconic musical person.
Yeah, he's actually got a really rad story too, and I've actually got his one album. I think it was called The Aftermath, or he had one. So when he met his wife, he quit. He actually felt bad because it was always rapping about hoes and this and that, and degrading to women. So he put out that one album after he met his wife because he fell in love, and he's like, it changed the way I viewed women. They were no longer objects. Like, I can't talk about this woman that way. I can't rap about women. And so he put out this whole album where it was like almost like PG-13 Dre. And I've actually got that album, and it was horrible. I mean, it was Dre, but it was horrible. And then even his wife goes, look, I know you love me. Go back to rapping like you used to, because that certainly isn't going to pay the bills if you keep putting out garbage like that. And so that's when the second Chronic came out, and it was back to like original Dre. But there was an album in there in the mix in between that's like pure garbage, and I've actually got that one. And it's not horribly bad, but you imagine like a PG-13 Dre? No,
but that's an awesome story, especially because she's like, nah, maybe you should go back and continue to do this.
Yeah, she gave her blessing. She's like, no, please, go back to the old Dre. We know that you love me. I know the songs aren't about me. Yeah. How do I know this hip-hop knowledge? I have no idea. I'm a white guy from Arizona, but I do.
That's okay. Everybody needs to have a little backstory to them, so that's yours.
Yep. So, all right. I don't know where the hell we went on this, but I know we talked about 30 seconds about racing. What else you got for me, Tiff?
Well, I was just going to say I'm pretty excited for the 50th anniversary this year of Crandon. I'm looking really forward to that, to the Red Bull races that they're having out there. And it just seems like everybody brings what they've got, and especially since it's the 50th this year, it's going to just be crazy racing.
Yeah. And Kid Rock, and you're from Detroit. Like, you got to be a massive Kid Rock fan, T-Stone.
I am. I do like Kid Rock. I lean a little bit more towards the Eminem side. That's just me. But, I do like Kid Rock. I'm pretty excited to see it's going to be out there. It's kind of funny that I go to Wisconsin to see a Kid Rock concert, but especially when he's just like in my backyard. But I'm pretty excited. I know the fans are going to be excited about that. I just think this year they're going to do a lot, like I said, because it's the 50th.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I've always appreciated about Kid Rock is, like, I'm a Kid Rock fan, a big Kid Rock fan, but he's a guy, like, he can put out a a rap album, does really well. He can put out a rock album, does really well. He can put out a country album, it does really well. Like, he's one of those like multi-talented guys. Like, he can just put out anything. Like, and I love musicians like that. So that's part of the reason why I'm a Kid Rock fan. But figured you've had some pretty rad talent come out of Detroit in music.
No, especially Big Sean, came out and stuff. He just came out with a new album. So
go back
I'm
to
lucky.
Motown.
Motown's here.
Yeah. Detroit Rock City. I guess that's what they call it, right? I don't know. You guys had some rad stuff come out of Detroit. So, including you, Tiff.
I try to be.
All right. Well, I don't know where we went with this. We've talked music and dancing babies and whatever else. Another randomness-filled segment here on the show, but always fun, Tiff.
Thank you for having me, and we will chat next time.
We will definitely be chatting next time, and we will definitely be back after this to wrap things up right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Here to wrap things up, and it's been a great show. We packed a lot of stuff into this one. Big thanks to all our guests, Tiffany Stone, Rod Amp, Jerett Brooks, Chris Leone, all of you guys for tuning in. Check out that new Polaris RZR. Please do that. I think you guys aren't going to be disappointed. That is definitely faux show. So, we are, we're rocking and rolling here. We'll be back next week with 3 shows. We've got a director's cut of the Rod Amp interview over there on the off-road edition. Got an X Games preview on Project Action. Don't want to miss out. I know next week we'll probably have some X Games guests on the show and be talking about some of the big wins. But got to give a big shout-out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Vision Wheel, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, all of our partners, man. Impact. We've got 4-Wheel Parts helping us out. We've got, My Medic. Definitely check them out. We got that coupon code Jim Beaver. Get you 15% off at My Medic. We got Super ATV, iRacing. Don't forget JB Dirtfish. That'll get you 15% off there at Dirtfish Rally School. So we're cranked, we're locked, we're loaded, and we are always having some of the best partners in the game right here helping us out. So, if you got any guest suggestions, man, always hit me up on social media at JimBeaver15. Love hearing from you guys. Love hearing who you want to hear from, who you want on the show list. I mean, we got 3 shows. We can find some show for just about every guest if you think they're good enough and get enough fans telling us to get them on air, we're definitely going to do it. So thank you guys for the continued support of the show, man. I never would have thought when I started this almost 8 years ago that we would be where we're at, but we definitely are, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So I know, like I said before, up next for me we got Bark River coming up, and then I've got to go to Vegas to Reno. I'm racing. I have to go, like I'm being forced, right? I'm racing in Vegas to Reno. And then capping off the month, we got Crandon. And, they just announced Kid Rock. Whoa, like massive, right? Friday night concert with Kid Rock. Like, could Crandon get any better for the 50th? Yep, it just did. Kid freaking Rock is coming to do a concert right there at Crandon. Like, now life is solid. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get them. Get your plane tickets. You need to go. It's going to be epic. I guarantee guarantee you won't be disappointed. And, so I think we're going to sign off. Once again, hit us up over there, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and, always keep us in the loop on anything you got going. Tag me with your photos when you're out at the races. I like seeing what fans of the show are up to. The Down and Dirty Radio Show Nation, I guess, is what we should call them. Anyways, we are going to sign off for this week. I'm done rambling. We'll see you next time right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.